Going on, money makers? If you have not heard, they just recently released a $78 billion tax plan. That's right, 78 billion with a B. I'm gonna break down some of the key details here. This is like fresh off the presses, breaking news. I'm gonna break this down and kind of give you my perspective on a couple things that I'm seeing here. Okay, so I got my notes, I got it highlighted, so we're gonna go through this. And again, I'm gonna get straight to the point and cut out all the fluff. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So this is going to benefit business owners. It's going to impact low income families. It's going to impact people with families. It's going to impact people with children. It's going to impact people who need housing. So basically, if you're a human being in the United States, this is going to impact you. So you want to make sure that you listen through and hear all the updates, okay? So, and this is developing. One thing I do want to note here as well, okay? So we have the tax season. If you're watching this before January 29th, I personally recommend that you need to put a pause on trying to get your taxes filed prior to the official tax start date from the IRS. One of the reasons why this is not completely finalized, there's still a lot of back and forth. And if you could try to go ahead and get your taxes filed, unfortunately, sometimes with these types of situations, you're gonna have to go back and get an amendment, which is it could be a headache. Okay, it's a nightmare. Yes, you can still go back and get your credits or benefits if these things apply to you, but you just want to make sure that you just put a pause on it. Make sure you just wait until they kind of figure out what's going on here, and then make sure you go ahead and get filed on time. Okay, but it officially starts January 29th. I just want to make that quick note, okay? Getting into, and then taxes, of course, are due April 15th. So getting into the $78 billion tax bill that's kind of about to be released here. So there's going to be some expansions as it relates to child tax credit. I did a detailed video on child tax credit, so you can go ahead and I'm going to post it in the description down below so you can watch that video after this. But make sure you go ahead and check that out if you have children. It's a really powerful video. It's also going to impact people who need low income housing. So there's going to be some low income housing credits. And like I said, it's going to benefit business owners as well. These benefits and what's going to happen with the $78 billion tax plan is going to last till 2025. Okay, so this is going to be around for some time. So you want to make sure you pay attention to this. So getting into what exactly is included. So let's talk about the child tax credit. Like I said, I have a video on here, but want to share with you some key things that I found as I was doing my research on this. Okay, so they've actually increased the refundable amount to $200 per child in the coming years. They could potentially increase that even more, but right now it's $200 per child. So for 2023, we have $1,800 for the child tax credit. 2024, it's going to be $1,900, and for 2025, the plan is for it to go up to $2,000. Okay, and this again is going to help people who qualify for the child tax credit. Again, it's based on how much income that you're making. So if you exceed that amount, then you're not going to necessarily get the full benefit. But if you happen to qualify for it, it's really going to be able to benefit you out and provide that support for you. Okay, this also is going to impact people who need affordable housing. I'm going to talk more about that in detail and let you know the impact of that, but that's what's also included with this. Okay, so again, the timeline here, they're really pushing to try to get this done prior to January 29th when they officially open for a tax filing season. But again, these things could get pushed back a little bit more. So I would say, again, make sure you hold off on getting your taxes filed, because again, there's going to be some back and forth. There's like just huge dispute on government spending right now. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to spend the money, how they're going to allocate the money. And, this is part of the conversation here. So getting into some of these breaks as it relates to business owners. So there's going to be some tax breaks as it relates to business owners. They're saying that it's going to actually be valued at over 600 billion. Okay, 600 billion. So these are big numbers here. Okay, so this is really really important time right now to make sure that you are being aware and working with someone that can help you with this. Okay, and the idea of it is supposed to be pro-American, pro-jobs, pro-growth. We're in an interesting economic time right now, so they're really looking to be able to find ways to be able to make sure that the economy does what it needs to do and to make sure that everyone's supported financially. So they're looking to spend this money so they can provide 21 million jobs. And basically, they want to do this to offset some of the COVID era packages. So, when COVID hit, there's all these different stimulus packages and all these different things that was going out into the marketplace. So one big thing that they are looking to, one big COVID related package that was released is the employee retention tax credit. Okay, so that was a huge one, and they're basically shutting that down. So if you haven't heard, they're actually shutting that down. It was chaotic. People were taking advantage of it. There's a lot of fraud that was going on with it, and they were just like, okay, we're just gonna cut this thing. Okay. So that is something to be aware of. And basically, they're going to cut it off till the end of January 2024 to go ahead and claim your employee retention credit if you actually qualify for it. Outside of that, they're just going to cut it off. Okay, before it's supposed to be April 15th, 2025, but they were just like, let's just go ahead and shut this thing down early because it's just very expensive for them to go try to chase down these people and try to do these audits and get people convicted in all these different things. And they're saying just by shutting this down, this is what I thought was interesting, just by being able to shut down his employee retention tax credit, it's actually going to save them over $7 billion, $70 billion. Okay, so that's how much money, that's how expensive it is when they go ahead and release these things and people are taking advantage and not doing what they need to do. So it's actually going to save them time, it's going to save them money, so they can go ahead and focus on some of these changes here. Okay, so that is another key component here. That's it for that. And then also there's going to be tax breaks for disaster related losses. So if you've had any disaster losses such as like wildfires, there's going to be some tax benefits for you as well to be able to support you in that area. And the White House is still reviewing this, they're still going through it. Biden, he's actually really committed to making sure that he is expanding the child tax credit, so he's really pushing to be able to push that a little bit more. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's a quick update. I just want to make sure you all got that information. Like I said, I have a detailed video talking more about the child tax credit. I'm going to stay on top of this and make sure that I'm giving you all the up to latest and greatest information. I'm going to make sure I do my due diligence to do some research. Key takeaways here that I want you to note. Again, if you are watching this prior to January 29th, go ahead and put a pause on getting your taxes filed right for now. Obviously, you want to make sure you get it filed prior to the tax deadline, which is April 15th, but you don't necessarily have to try to jump the gun trying to get things early. I know some people want to get the refunds early and kind of expedite that process, but just understand this, and you get the tax advances and all that, but just understand that there's still a lot going on, and if you happen to qualify for some of these benefits that I mentioned, you're going to delay the process. You may have to do an amendment, which could be a headache down the line. All right, so let me know what you think. Let me know what your comments are. Let me know in the bottom what you think here. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, so you can get the up-to-date information on this. I'm going to be on top of this and give you the latest and greatest information, report on this as quickly as possible, and really summarize it for you, all right? I know some of this stuff can be complicated to understand, so I'm going to do my best to be able to simplify for you, but if there's anything that you need clarity on, any questions, make sure you go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Happy tax season.